Greetings Exiles, I'm Raziel, and this is just going to be a short video on the next build that I'm doing. It's an Iron Commander Hierophant. Now if you don't know what Iron Commander is a bow that gives you an extra siege ballista for every 200 dexterity that you have. Pairing this with the additional totems you get from the Hierophant, you end up with between 8 and 10 totems depending on your gear. This build is something that I've tried to do in the past. The last time I successfully did it was when poison was still broken and I was doing a poison Juggernaut variant of the build. But now, with recent additions to this particular patch, it's now stronger than ever and easier to build than ever. It was possible in the past leagues, but you'd have to get a lot of jewels and things, and it was a painful experience that I didn't want to put myself or you guys through. So now that it's pretty simple to do, I'm just going to be doing a guide on this and also just try to keep you guys posted. I may even take this to a point where you're leveling into the high 90s and using Headhunter and all that jazz, but we'll have to see if I can get my hands on a Headhunter first. So this build uses some uniques to great effect, first of which being the Iron Commander, which as mentioned gives you an additional totem per 200 dexterity. We then use the Fractal Thoughts, which gives us dexterity, crit multi, and 1% increased elemental damage for every 10 dexterity, which ends up being over 100% increased elemental damage. We also use High-Res Demise, a unique quiver which grants us about 100 to 200 cold damage, if not more, as well as some extra other elements for whatever reason. Garukan's Flight gives us about 220 life, maybe a bit more, and is pretty much best in slot boots if you're stacking your dexterity over 100. Since our stats are not all being converted, Cyclopean Coil becomes a really good option. So I'll probably be using that or a Headhunter as well. And lastly, just to pad out our damage a bit more, we would use a High-Res Ire Zodiac Leather, which gives us a large amount of flat cold damage to bow attacks. To accomplish the high dexterity amount without traveling into the ranger side of the tree, we use two conversion jewels. Firstly, we use our Careful Planning, which converts intelligence to dexterity up by the witch. And then we use a Fluid Motion, which converts our strength to dexterity at the bottom by the marauder. The last thing we grab that's new to Legion League is a Brutal Restraint Timeless Jewel. This drops from the Maraketh boss, and it grants a bunch of dexterity, projectile, cold, and so on additions to your nodes. This one in particular grants me crit chance on Holy Dominion, 5% increased dexterity on Divine Fervor, 5% increased dexterity on Endurance, 5% increased dexterity on Devotion, 10% effective non-damaging ailments on Overcharge, 10% duration of ailments on enemies on Redemption, 20% cold resistance on Amplify, and 5% increased dexterity on Divine Judgment, giving me 20% increased dexterity and about 80 flat dexterity from the minor nodes leading up to all of the notables that I've picked. Another thing that we will be using to sort of adjust for the fact that we're not going to the ranger side is Lionize Fall, which when used in this dual socket will convert disemboweling and the surrounding nodes to work with bows. Note that I haven't picked up the counterweight side of things because Timeless Jewel cannot be reconverted by something else, so those two nodes would be 4 dexterity each, and it just didn't seem like a good idea. I might change that in the future, but for now I'm looking to get to 1400 dexterity and possibly a Headhunter. Anyway, this has just been a quick overview of the build, and so far so good. I've managed to kill the Uber Elder pretty quickly although it wasn't deathless, and it's pretty much handled every challenge I've thrown at it, despite it being quite a bit more squishy than my usual build. Anyway, I look forward to showcasing the entire build with you, and with all that said, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and good luck, and stay juicy.
Boom! A golden mallet for the meat pounding!